if you want to become somebody who runs their own business, then you must be willing to deal with failure. Do something out of the norm at least once a month. Best thing for an entrepreneur, being able to listen to what a client is saying and be able to realize what the client needs and sell it to them. Welcome to the Ethel Coffee Startup School. Welcome. This week, I've decided to bring someone, so I will introduce him soon. Bring someone who will be part of the conversation, so you'll just not have me talking at you for 30 minutes. You actually have a conversation about sort of running a sales team, just building your sales repertoire. So this week I brought somebody who is who I've known for the last 6 or 7 years. I met him, I was a judge at a startup competition, I think a startup weekend, a startup competition. And he and his team built a product that I found really, really interesting at the time. It was about entertainment, around sort of the entertainment industry in Ghana. Fast forward many, many lessons later, he is now CEO of a company called Pentium Tech. They built a product called Kudi Go. He'll talk about it a little bit later. He is an avid salesman. I think he's a really great salesman. He knows how to sell. So this is why I brought him today, just for you guys. And so he and I today are going to have wonderful lessons. So we're going to welcome Kingsley Abrokwa to the Ethel Coffee Startup Show. And we're going to start and discuss sales, how to make money. Because you know, right? You know that if you have a business and you're not selling, it's a hobby, right? It's just like, it's a hobby. You're not selling. You don't have a business. Mm-hmm. So welcome, Kingsley.
Thank you, and I'm excited to be here. I'm also a returning, viewer of the Ethel Coffee Startup School. So, but now I'm on the other side of the camera, so right. Yeah.
Yeah, so, hopefully over time, I know we'll be ending the season 2, so maybe we'll get a few other viewers to come and watch us. So, you have a long story.
Yeah, it begins with you judging me at that competition. And guys, when Ethel judges you, trust me, it's for the best. Because, I'm here now, right? From judging me to being on the same seat with her. So trust me, get her to judge you because it might help your career.
It's very painful, but it's useful.
It does. But it's been a long journey for me. I didn't set out as an entrepreneur. Right. I set out to get a job to do. Right. And the good thing for me is right out of secondary school, I got my first job. Right. So right there and then, I knew what I wanted to do. So I forged a career path that I had interest in. Right. And I worked for so many companies before finally starting my own company, which is Pentium Tech. Right. So it's been a great journey and I'm still enjoying it. It's fun. Okay.
So let's get into the specifics. Here it's going to be a bit more fun. Okay. So you spent a little bit of time being a salesperson working for other people, right? Yes. So as a business development executive. Yes. So tell us a little bit about the experience of being part of a business development team and the lessons you learned there and the things you picked up there, right? So again, the program is really practical. So we want really practically for you as somebody that used to, so you worked for somebody and you were a head of sales or a senior sales business development person.
Exactly.
What was your process? How did you get and make a sale? Because you know that once you don't sell, you're out of business. So how did you get and make your sales? Talk to us a little bit about being on the other side and being the salesperson for another entrepreneur and what that process was like.
Great. So for me, it began with the company I was working with was a company that had most of its revenue coming from close associates at the time I joined the company. Right. So it wasn't really pushing a lot of sales terms out there. But I came in because they wanted to change their business model. They wanted to bring in outside clientele. So my job was to bring in new clients who are not, as we say, family and friends. So I had to go out. Right. I put out a very nice marketing plan. I had the budget I needed. I had a car to go around with. Everything I needed. So I had to go out pitching our product and the software company. So basically mobile apps, web applications. And the other thing was that this company was in the high-end market. So you're looking at paying like 5K for a website, 20K for mobile app. So really, I had to push out there, get high budget and say, no, guys, we can do this for you. Come and work with us. Right. So that's how it started. But then again, the reality was that this is a traditional company, right? People there are comfortable in their skin. So I brought my first project. I had to go and pay to this big time company. Telling them, look, we can do this, do that. We have the track record to prove it. Okay. They give me their project. I'm like, okay, give me upfront payments. They pay. I come to the office. Everyone's like, wow, we got a new project. Excited. That is where it ended.
Right. What do you mean that's where it ended?
For them, what they are used to is, well, we have a project to do. Timelines are very flexible. Right. Whether I deliver or not, nobody really cares. Right. So, they just go to sleep and do it as and when they feel motivated to do it. Okay. But this time around, I had a real client who had given me strict timelines, and I had to deliver. Okay. So normally, for a website design, you begin with probably a concept design with a designer. You give the UI guy, okay, this is what I want for my client. We want it in 3 days.
Right, so first of all, you've got to stop using jargons because not all our listeners are tech.
Sorry about that.
Yes, so you've got to demystify the process.
Okay, so let me demystify the process. Right. So the contract that I got for my particular sales I'm talking about was a website development contract. Right. Now with websites, if you are doing for a corporate client, you first have to show them what the design will look like. Right. So that they have to first approve the design before actually go into development of the actual product. Okay. So that comes to your graphic designer, as we call it. Now, you give the graphic guy your concept, he has to do it in a particular time frame. Mine was, okay, I want this in 3 days. It took him 3 weeks to do it. Right. And we were all on the same level in terms of, position level. Right. So he wasn't reporting to me. So
at this point, you've transitioned from being a business development guy to the project manager.
Exactly, right. Project manager. That's what I had to do at that point. So I had to actually micromanage him, even try to coerce him with lunch and all that, so that he could do the job that he was being paid to do. Right. And we got that out of the way. Client got the concept, approved the concept. Now it comes to my favorite people, the developers. Right. They will tell you how their job is so difficult, how you don't understand it.
Yeah, not like we haven't been developers
before, it's true though, but sometimes we overdo it, you know? And then clients wanted a thing done in 2 months. Right. Okay. At the end of the day, it took us 4 months to deliver the project to the client. Right. 4 months.
And how did you manage the client through the process? Because you clearly are the person that's brought in the sale and you want to keep that client. So how do you then manage the clients in a process like that?
So in the beginning, I thought I could lie my way through with the clients.
Well, that's very honest.
I'm just being candid with guys, you know. Right. And I was like, you know what, my designer was sick, so he couldn't do it. So you know what, he's coming back, getting a new guy, It got to a point I couldn't continue lying. Right. I had to be real with the client. And real in the sense that the client was frustrated, understandably so. Right. All I did was, whenever the client calls me to rant, I listened. Right. I listened, and offered constructive and measurable KPI, look, we can't do this next week, but I promise you by next week, at least I'll have the About Us page working.
Right. Okay. So you asked, let me just review. So this is you working for someone else.
Exactly.
And understanding that you still have personal responsibility on delivery of projects.
Exactly.
Now tell me, in the transition, or you transition from that company and start your own, tell me the lessons that you picked from sort of working as a salesperson for other people, the lessons that helped you transition into running your business, in terms of how that teaches you in hiring a salesperson, how that teaches you in equipping a salesperson.
Okay. So I did this job for like 6 months, and because of the way I approached my job, I built a lot of network of contacts. Right. So that inspired me to start Pentium Tech. Right. Now, like every new startup entrepreneur, I was so excited. The passion was great. I wanted to go full scale, and I thought I had the right solution. Now, fast track, 6 months down the line, I wasn't making any money. Right. I was in knee deep. I was making I couldn't even pay myself a salary. Right. It was that bad. Now, my problem was that I was looking to get jobs from people who knew me from my experience back in the day. Right. But then the problem was that people wanted to know your experience. What has the company done before?
Right.
What
it's
is your
just, it's not just about you.
No, not just about me
So now
anymore.
you're part of a bigger company, a bigger entity, and what has this company done? And you have no track record.
Exactly. Okay. So it's like a newborn baby who comes and say, pay me 10,000 cedis because I'm cute. You know.
Right, yeah. Okay.
That's the kind of thing I went out to do. And it wasn't working. And I was very stubborn, which every entrepreneur should be. But I mean, you should measure it. That's when you have to calm down a bit. I was very like, look, I know what I'm doing. I'm going out for it. I was building all these big projects. I didn't get even a single one of it. So at a point, I had to like, look, Kingsley, you're a cool guy. You are smart, but it's not working.
Right.
So I had to pivot. I had to figure out.
So pivot is also another way. So those of us who are in the startup, entrepreneurial, tech type industry, we use all these terms we use. So explain what pivot is.
So for every business, you have what we call your business model. Basically, how you intend to make money. Okay. Now, at a point, things might not work out due to so many factors. So you have to change that particular business, which is what we call the pivoting. Okay. So you change it to something that might work until you get the right fit.
Okay.
So that's what I did. I changed my business model. And this time around, so again, Pentium Tech was a software company building apps for clients, right? Now, initially, I was going out to get like I'm Ethel, I have, my company is, they give me a job. Ethel will say, well, Kingsley, no, you don't have this and that and that and that. I stopped that. I now went to ad agencies. Right. Because these ad agencies have a reputation, they have big budget clients, and normally bid on big projects wholesale. Right. After which they give bits and pieces to other companies. Okay. So I made sure that I partnered with all these ad agencies, sold them my value, and then they went out there trumpeting my value as part of their service offering. Right. Yeah. That's how I got my first.
So here's the lesson here, right? Let's just zone in on the pivoting bit. So he built this company. It's the same MO. I'm an IT person. I can build software. So I'm going to go out there and sell my services. And then he goes out and realizes, actually, my disadvantage is nobody knows who I am. So we know we've talked about it in terms of the sales process, right? Finding partnerships and finding people you can partner. We looked at a whole list of business models. So he found a certain niche, which was there are a group of people that support, that will bid on wholesale big clients projects, and that usually includes, and these are ad agencies, and that might include an app, web design. And so now, instead of going on my own to bid for web design projects or app projects, I am now going to go with the ad agencies that already have the traction on the market and partner with them, sell my value to them, right? And so now they go and bid for the project and I piggyback off of them. So this is a great lesson, right? It's a great lesson in terms of experimenting and trying out different parts of a business model. Not being stuck, right? And even if one is successful, even one business model is doing well, experimenting with other business models and trying to see if there are other sort of ways to bring in revenue. So that's your one lesson as far listening to Kingsley's story, is test out your business models and test out, right? So I want to drill down in how you decided to target the ad agencies or the marketing agencies. What made you decide, okay, versus, oh no, I don't know, I'm gonna go talk to real estate providers. What was the process thinking to allow you to get to the place where you went, okay, I think the ad guys are much better partners?
Great. So it all came down to how much I was charging for the service I was providing. Okay. Right. I believed I offered certain value that was in the high end. Right. So the kind of clientele I was looking at were clientele who would only work with recognized agencies. Right. So I couldn't go to just your average agency or your average graphic designer and say, guys, let's partner. Right. I had to look at people who actually could fit my budget, because in website development, some people do templates and then code from scratch. I wanted to code from scratch, from design to content, and that cost money. It will probably cost me about 4 developers, paying them $2K a month for 3 months. That's a lot. So my typical project should be probably around 30K or 40K. Right. You can't get that money by playing on the lower end. Right. So the plan was that, look, I look at the top agencies who are out there working for the likes of MTN and other big brands, and partner with them. I mean, do things for them that they will not want to do in-house, and piggyback on that, like you rightly said.
So let's talk about how you prepare for presentations, right? So you finally get the meeting with the ad. I like the way you say because there's a story and a half there, right?
Yeah.
So say how you prepare for. So you've got this meeting with the biggest ad agency in Ghana. You've been invited to come in and pitch your services. How do you prepare for the meeting, and how do you pitch in that meeting?
Remember when I pitched for Startup Weekend, right?
Yeah.
My entrance, I came with a song.
Yes, I remember. So let me tell this story. So
Oh,
he came in. I mean, everybody comes and they just stand and they start presenting, and your man just had like music in the back. You know, everybody sort of paid attention. He had a whole hype crew behind him, and came into the room. So yeah, so that set him apart from everybody else.
And really, I mean, for me, I do my preparation all right. I have my pitch deck done, but I don't practice the pitch.
So a pitch deck is a presentation.
Okay. So a presentation you give out to your client.
Right.
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint. There we go.
Now, I do all that, but I don't practice exactly what I'm going to say verbatim.
Okay.
What I realized was that as soon as you get into the room, the people there, their tone of voice, even their attitude might be different from what you came to pitch.
Right.
So first thing I go, as soon as I enter, I look at the room, look at who is there, look at their demeanor. Are they all smiling? Are they frowning? Did somebody just get back from lunch, or somebody just get out of a very bad meeting?
Right.
And then based on that, I tailor my pitch to the exact atmosphere I'm in.
Okay.
So sometimes I might not start from the very beginning. I might start showing them something I've done for a client before and tell them the value of what I'm going to do for them, if I even bring the pricing in.
Okay.
But once you start talking about pricing, everybody starts taking their pen and start drilling down on things.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, no, we said this last week, right? So when you go, last week we talked about the sales objections, and one of the biggest sales objections is you're too expensive. And I said to you last week, when somebody says to you in a sales meeting, you're too expensive, don't start to haggle over price. Start to talk about value. And that's what Kingsley is saying, right? Kingsley is saying, I go and tell them the value I bring. So it's not, oh my God, how is a website $5,000? It is, look, this is what we're building for you means that you can attract 20,000 more clients. And that means that you will make more money from the website that we built for you, right? So value. When you're in a sales meeting, when you're in your sales meeting, remember that once people say you're too expensive or start talking about price, you immediately start talking about value. Like, never haggle on price in the meeting. Okay, so let's.
Yeah, so I mean, it comes down to that. What I always realized was that, look, your typical client doesn't understand what you're building for them.
Right.
Okay, so you need to bring it down to their level. Okay, for example, I was talking about, websites and all these jargons, like you rightly said. Let them see how what you're building relates to their business. So a website, how will it help me make $10K next month? Once they understand that particular component what you provide for them, it's an easy sell. Right. But the moment they feel like, well, it's something that I can't really quantify, and trust me, most businessmen want to be able to see, how am I getting this money back? If I'm putting him $10,000, when will I get it back? How will I get it back? So for you as the entrepreneur, think about their business for them. Right. Think about how your product gives them money in return, and go and sell that to them. Once they hear, I can make money off this, they will pay for it. Right. It's business.
Okay. Yeah. What's the biggest, apart from sort of price, what are the top sales objections you get in a sales meeting, and how do you deal with it?
Some people will tell you, well, this other company came and they said they could do it for this amount. Right. Why do you say we do it for this amount? Right. Well, at that point, in my mind, I'm fighting like I'm like punching you in the head, because like, why do you have to compare me to that company? Right. But then I take a stand like, look, fair enough, they can do it for X amount based on what they've said they're going to do. Right. But that's what I'm saying I'm going to do. Okay. So it's up to you to decide what value you want. Right. At the end of the day, somebody will price lower and promise you heaven on earth. But ask yourself, can he give me heaven on earth with 1,000 Ghana cedi budget? Right. So that's what I tell you. Look, I'm expensive, but I'm giving you X, Y, Z, and I'm going to deliver. Okay.
Selling value. Right, so this is at the end of the day. So I'm trying to tease out the different points. Sell on value, let your experience talk for you, but sell on value. Never be, if it's different, we're going to talk about a product that you have, which is a lower end product, right? So this is your one of your first lower end products.
Lower end products.
And we'll talk about how you market that, right? So you built this business around sort of high end customers, high end products. And then you went and built a product called Kudigo.
Yeah, Kudigo.
Right, tell me a little bit about that.
So Kudigo is basically a retail and point of sale system, which is built specifically for micro SMEs in the consumer retail space. So let me break it down. I'm building an app for our market women, our provision stops, and our convenience stores.
Right.
Now the problem was that I was selling an accounting software to clients, which was very cheap for them to buy. But they would say, Kingsley, I want the accounting software, but I also want a retail system. I probably want a POS system. But Auntie Akwele, who sells things that provision store down there, can't afford my 10,000 Ghana CD budget.
Right.
Okay, but she has a smartphone.
Right.
She can't buy a computer to run a POS, but she has a smartphone.
Right.
So what we did was that we've built a mobile application that is full-scale retail, from inventory to warehousing to everything. We've plugged in the payment module, your mobile money, your car payment is in there. We've also put in the background Mine First Now, which was the accounting software.
Right.
Now, the thing I realized was that Auntie Akwele is semi-literate, right? She doesn't know what a balance sheet is, then what a profit and loss statement is.
Right.
What she knows how to do is, today I've sold 5 tins of milk, she writes it down.
Right.
So my system just allows her to do only that. Now, this is where the tech is important. The tech then takes that simple input of, I sold 1 milk today, and converts that into a profit and loss statement, a balance sheet, and all the things that she will need to become financially inclusive.
Right.
So that's what we've built now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talk to me about why you decided, so it's free.
It's free. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. But
Yes.
I mean, we're still making money.
Right. So talk to me about why you decided to pick the free business model. The thinking around sort of why do you decide, okay, instead of, you could sell it maybe cheaply, maybe $5 a month or whatever. You decided, no, we're going to give it for free, and we're going to make money another way. Talk to me about that process of deciding what that business model would be.
I mean, free, yeah, that's the relation on the ground, right? I mean, even with this thing we are doing right now, how many of you would have joined the session for probably 1 Ghana cedi a month to join this session? We love it, but we won't.
Right.
I realized that, look, my product was good, but the people I'm targeting, they will want to pay for it, but not in the short term.
Right.
So I didn't want to put a price wall in front of them. So it was more of the barriers to entry.
Right.
Okay.
So you wanted larger numbers.
Exactly, larger numbers.
Because it's a mass market product.
A mass market product.
Right. So you're taking down all the barriers to entry.
All the barriers to entry, but still manage to put in a money-making component in there, which is not really a barrier to entry, in the sense that you want to do mobile payments on my platform, that's fine, do it. But I take a percentage of that transaction that you do.
So that's where
So I still get to make a little bit of money
Right.
off you as a free user.
Okay.
And it works for them, because I mean, just download like WhatsApp and use it.
Right. There we go. So again, we're talking about real life experience of building a business, right? So he has he has a high end business, and he decides, okay, but I get, for this particular product, there seems to be a lot of customers that are at the lower end of things that want the product, but they want other things, and they cannot necessarily pay for it fully. So here it is. I'm going to provide. It's a software as a service, right?
Exactly.
So I'm going to provide a software as a service. I'm going to give it free to the client. So we talked about the freemium model, right? I'm going to give it free to the client, and then I'm going to have every time there's a payment made on the platform, I'm going to deduct and take a little money out of it, and that's how I make money. So now I don't need 1 or 2 people. I need 10,000 people using the system. Hold on. I have to remember to remind people that HBR book, right? So if you're listening intently, you will get the chance to win the book. So do not forget to be paying attention and writing down notes. I think we'll let Kingsley ask the question, because he's been talking. He's been talking today.
I also wanted to win it, so
Kingsley also wants to win the book. So we don't know, but at the end of the show, there'll be a question, and hopefully whoever answers it. So back to how does your marketing then change, right? So you're used to marketing high end, so it's one-on-one meetings, going to an agency, convincing the agency. maybe pushing the agency to, you know, go out and see more clients. But how do you market this, which is very different, right?
Great.
Because it's one-on-one. It's not, you can't do one-on-one because it's larger numbers. You need 10,000 people.
Perfect.
You need 20,000 people. How do you sell differently?
So let me give you one last jargon, right? B to B to C.
Right.
Now let me explain. B2B simply means business to business sales, okay? And B2C means business to customer sales. Now with Kudigo, I literally can't go one-on-one selling to market women. But you ask yourself, what do these market women sell? They sell products by Unilever, by Promasidor, by Forwin. Okay, so what I've done is, my first sales targets are the key distributors. The people who go out there and supply these things to the market women. I'm also talking to their market associations, trying to sell those groups the value.
Right.
And then they go down and trickle down the message to them.
Okay.
So it's B2B from me to them, and B2C from them to the end user.
Okay. So but this is what we've been saying, right? So find where your average customer is in large numbers and go there, which is what you're doing, right?
Exactly.
So I want to sell to market women. I want market women, people who have retail points to use, you know, who have shops to use it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to a cooperative society, a retail cooperative society. I'm going to go to a market women's association, and I'm going to get them to get buy-in and get their members to do it. So you see, all the things I've been saying, it's not like I've just been making them up. You see, I'm really just making stuff
up. It's the gospel.
Kissy is living it and working on it. So it's different, right? So if you're selling to a high-end market, there's a difference in putting together a presentation, getting a one-on-one meeting, preparing for that one-on-one meeting, going to that meeting, or even using an affiliate, like you're using with, you know, the marketing.
Or the FMCG companies.
Yes. And otherwise, or when you have a higher-end product, a lower-end product, when you need mass market and you don't have a large sales force, right? You've got to also go through, either you do it yourself or you've got to find a way to reach the people that you want in larger numbers.
Exactly.
So you see,
exactly.
like what I've been saying, it's very, very
now you believe it.
So let's do the final. I think our time is sort of about wrapping up, but let's talk about what you look for, which is, I think it's important to a lot of the viewers, what you look for when hiring a salesperson.
Well,
considering that you've been on both sides, right?
I mean,
you know, you worked for somebody and saw all the bad things with working and running a company, and then you go and you go to what do you call it? You go to somebody, now you do it for yourself, and you're the head salesperson. When you're hiring for a salesperson, what are the things you're looking for so that people can pick it up?
So I don't look for first degrees or master's degrees because I don't have a degree in sales and marketing, but I'm doing it. I look for first and foremost passion.
Right.
Okay, you are an employee, but you need to have passion for what you say you can do.
Right.
Okay, and I also look for people who have actually upgraded their skills on their own.
Right.
So yes, you have a BSc in computer science, but have you learned any new languages since you left school?
Right.
Yes, you have an MSc in accounting, but do not use an accounting software. I look at those things, and lastly, I look at how you value yourself. I mean, when you come into my interview, tell me that, Kingsley, I want you to pay me 5,000 Ghana cedis, and convince me that you deserve that money. And trust me, if you really deserve it, I'll find the money to pay you. But when you come in and I say I'll pay you 200, like, okay, you know what, I'll take the 200 because, you know, I want the job.
You don't have people like that?
No. I'm not going to employ you.
That's an interesting take on that. So you want people that believe in their value.
Exactly.
And understand their value. But then I know you, so I understand where that comes from.
Because see, I mean, my clients will call me at 10 p.m. and say, Kingsley, this is wrong. I have to fix it.
Yeah.
So if I call you and say, well, you won't pay me 20 Ghana cedis, so I'm not willing to commit my life to this company.
You want people to commit their lives to the company. I like that.
Exactly.
So I'm paying you enough so you will commit.
Exactly.
Right. So if you're looking for a salesperson, maybe your company is growing. Kingsley says look for passion, look for somebody that learns on their own, and look for somebody that has value, understands their own value so that they can bring value to your product. So we've had an amazing time with you, Kinsley. Thank you very much for coming. We've had a really exciting time today. So if you have feedback for us, I can be reached on www.ethelcoffee.com. So you can find me Facebook Ethel G Coffee, Twitter at Ethel Coffee, at Instagram Ethel Coffee, LinkedIn Ethel Coffee. Just Google Ethel Coffee, you will find me. Leave us a message. Tell us what you thought of the program. We've been doing little 1-minute videos out of it. So if you find them on Instagram, the rest of the places, just leave us a comment. Let us know how you feel. So we've had an amazing talk today. Thank you for being part of the Ethel Coffee Startup School for this week. See you next week. Sell it to them.